welcome to another Metallisis album review. Today we're looking at Testament, Titans of Creation. So let's start with the artwork as always. I love this album cover actually. It's very intriguing, and the more you look at it, the more you learn about it. Really, it's just as the name of the album implies. It's three titans creating the universe. But it's really cool because they're huge, surrounded by planets, making them seem just incredibly small. And they're creating some sort of red planet in a city, perhaps a planet that has life on it at the center there. And swirling around it is a double helix representing most likely DNA. And it's from the forges of the fire of life and creation. And one of the titans has got a big flask that he's pouring the fire through the heart of another titan. All kinds of symbolism going on here. Super cool artwork. Really makes you want to give it a listen. And of course, the Mighty Testament logo there that's been around forever, which I think is a great logo. So 5 out of 5 on the artwork. Already they're off to a great start. The music, Testament's interesting to me because I hadn't really listened to Testament until Brotherhood of the Snake, which is one of their more recent albums. And then I went back and just listened to their whole catalog. And they're a band that's gotten better and better and better with every single release. You'll usually see people rate Legacy as their best album. But I can tell the production quality is not as great, which isn't necessarily their fault. And there's some good tracks on there, but I personally like their later stuff. The more I go into their discography, the better they get. And this has been continuing the trend because I thought Brotherhood of the Snake was an excellent album. And this is maybe even better, very close, perhaps one of their best. So let's pull out the highlights. So Night of the Witch is one of their early single releases. It's an awesome song, particularly when Chuck Billy is putting his gruff sort of witch voice onto every phrase. So when he says, by the light of the moon, he kind of goes over the O's in that in a very dark way that sounds just like witchcraft. He captures the essence of the feel of that song perfectly in that. That I could just listen to that song over and over, and I have been. It's on my playlist that gets cycled every single day at least. So that's a super awesome song. City of Angels slows down the tempo a bit, has some really quality headbanging riffs to it. Dark Tone, which is something common in metal, but another really great tune, another 5 out of 5 on there for you. Symptoms, another great song, just very heavy. Hits you right what you'd expect from Testament, very thrash, groove metal combination. I feel like they get labeled as thrash, which I think they are, but I also feel like they're groove metal. So I think they're kind of a combination, and Symptoms represents that combination very well to me. So that's another 5 out of 5. And they end with a really cool outro. Catacombs is like this chunky, heavy riff with some choir in the background. I love choir when choirs are incorporated into metal. It sounds really cool. Black Sabbath does that pretty effectively. Unsainted from Slipknot does that really well. It gives something about choirs that are kind of dark and brooding and scary, and I think it's just the connection with witchcraft and Satanism, even though they're from like a Christian church and things like that, that adds a mysticism element. And Catacombs goes out on a song like Catacombs, which I think is another really strong. So another 5-star song on this album. So really awesome. Some of the other tracks that are really good, World War III. I think some of the riffs are not quite as awesome as those other highlights I pointed out, but still worth listening to, and has a really awesome heavy breakdown component to it that really revitalizes the song for me, because I thought it's just solid at first, and then the breakdown makes it really awesome, and then it's just kind of okay again. So for me, that's like a 3.5. Ishtar's Gate has a cool bass intro and some creepy melodies. Really solid song, but also doesn't stand out. It's not a song that I really want to listen to over and over, but I think it'll grow on me. Every time I've listened to this album all the way through, I've liked it a little bit more. So right now I'm thinking a 3.5, but I actually think Ishtar's Gate might be a 4 in the end, and I find myself being drawn to it. The Healers, all about like fake religious leaders trying to pretend like they can heal people from all kinds of nonsense. Really cool theme, great tune, 3.5, Curse of Osiris 3.5. These are all really good tracks, worth a listen, but I find I'm also not going back to them as much as Night of the Witch or City of Angels or Catacombs. So in the end, it'll probably be those 4 highlight tracks that I'll be going back to and listening to over and over, and the rest I will occasionally maybe check out, but not as much. Children of the Next Level. Sounds like it's about xenophobia at the border with all the stuff going on in the United States right now. Good tune, solid tune, but doesn't stick out to me. Code of Hammurabi and False Prophets are not as good to me. Those are like 2s. So those are the only kind of filler tracks to me that I would call them that anyways. I know everyone looks for different things in music, but those ones don't stick out to me. But of the 12 songs, really, 10 of them are pretty great. And 4 of them are worth being on the playlist and listening to over and over. So I think it's a really good release by Testament. I have to give the album a 4 out of all overall, which is really excellent. I try not to give lots of 4s and 5s unless an album really deserves it. And so I think Testament really deserves this 4 out of 5. So this will probably make the top 10 playlist at the end of 2020. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below.